Rivals Radio.
Welcome back to Rivals Radio. Free agency is kicking off later this week, but we're already seeing some fireworks with GMs making some really interesting preemptive moves. It seems like everyone is trying to get a head start on the competition, even though first-round draft picks are off the table this year.
It's fascinating to see how these early decisions might reveal their strategies for the year one draft. They're placing players on the trade block, almost like chess pieces, trying to anticipate their opponent's next moves.
Okay, so let's dive into some of the most intriguing names on the block. We've got to start with the quarterbacks, right? Canton Crush, holding that coveted #1 pick, have put both of their QBs up for grabs, including 10-year veteran Leon Colvin. What's the play here? Are they clearing the path for the presumed #1 pick, phenom Johnny McNamara?
It's a bold move that has everyone speculating. But what if it's a smokescreen? They could be trying to drum up interest in Colvin and spark a bidding war to maximize their return. Or perhaps they're not entirely sold on McNamara and are exploring other options.
You're right. It could be a strategic play to gain leverage in trade talks. Teams desperate for a quarterback might be willing to pay a premium, and the Crusher in a prime position to capitalize on that.
Exactly.
Now let's move on to the Austin Strangers, who have the #2 pick. They've been heavily linked to a quarterback in the draft. Despite having Andrew Rushing on their roster, could they be looking to snag the second-best QB prospect?
It's definitely a possibility, especially considering Rushing led the league in interceptions last year. This new leadership team in Austin seems to be taking a win-now approach. They're not afraid to make bold moves and shake things up.
And they're not just making waves at the quarterback position. They've also put defensive tackle Colby Jackson and wide receiver Joe Stecker on the block. Jackson in particular is a surprising move, considering his talent.
Trading Jackson would come with a hefty $9 million cap penalty. This suggests they might be clearing cap space for a major acquisition, possibly through free agency. Or they could be prioritizing other positions and are willing to sacrifice some talent to address those needs.
It's almost like they're sending a message to the rest of the league. We're playing to win.
Yeah.
And we're not afraid to make tough decisions.
Absolutely. They're creating a dynamic and unpredictable environment, which makes them a team to watch closely in the coming weeks.
Now let's shift gears to the Brawlers, who are shopping star wide receiver DeAndre Flowers. He's arguably the best offensive player available right now. And with 2 years left on his contract, he could command a significant return.
This move has sparked a lot of debate. Is Buffalo aiming to rebuild and stockpile draft picks? Or are they trying to free up cap space to address other needs like bolstering their defense? Trading a player of Flowers' caliber is never easy, but it could be a strategic move to position themselves for long-term success.
It's interesting because they're already a contender. So trading Flowers would signal a significant shift in their approach.
It definitely raises questions about their long-term vision. Are they going all in for a championship this year? Or are they thinking about a more gradual, sustainable build?
And the return they get for Flowers will be crucial. It might soften the blow for their fans.
Speaking of teams shrouded in mystery, let's talk about the Albuquerque Dukes. Under their new GM/HC Walt Shelby, he's been remarkably quiet, but his actions on the trade block speak volumes. He's put a mix of young players and seasoned veterans up for grabs. What's his endgame?
It's like he's playing poker with his cards held close to his chest. Is he trying to rebuild the team from the ground up? Or is he strategically targeting specific weaknesses and using these trades to acquire the pieces he needs?
It's tough to say, but the variety of players on the block suggests he's open to a range of possibilities. He could be testing the market, seeing what kind of value he can get for certain players, and then adjusting his strategy accordingly.
It's a fascinating situation. You've got this new GM coming in, shaking things up and keeping everyone guessing. It's going to be interesting to see how his moves play out in the next few weeks, especially leading into the draft.
And then we have the Pittsburgh Prowlers, who made a truly eyebrow-raising move. By placing their star cornerback Jared Newman on the block, Newman tied for the league lead in interceptions last year. Talk about a gamble.
This one really surprised me. Prowlers GM/HC Shaka Caesar has acknowledged the impact this could have on the team's defense. But he's clearly willing to take a risk for the right return.
It's a high-stakes move, but it might be a sign of Caesar's confidence in his ability to find a suitable replacement. Perhaps he's identified a young player in the draft or free agency who he believes can step up and fill the void left by Newman.
Or maybe he's planning to completely revamp the defense and is using this trade as a catalyst for a larger overhaul. It's bold, it's risky, but it definitely adds another layer of intrigue to the pre-free free agency landscape.
Absolutely. And these early trades are just the tip of the iceberg. As we get closer to free agency and the draft, the action is only going to intensify. It's going to be fascinating to see how these trades and the upcoming draft reshape the landscape of the league.
It's a great time to be a Football Rivals fan. The future is wide open and anything can happen.
And you know what else is exciting? The deadline to apply to be a GM is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you think you have what it takes to build a championship team, now's your chance to step into the shoes of these GMs and make those tough decisions. Think you can do better? Now's your chance to prove it.
It's an incredible opportunity to shape the future of the league. We've been breaking down the moves these GMs are making, but maybe you have a different approach. Maybe you see a different path to victory.
And who knows, maybe next year we'll be talking about your moves on the trade block.
They might not be the flashiest names, but they're proven playmakers who could provide valuable leadership and experience.
Especially for teams looking to make a quick turnaround or add depth to their roster. These veterans could be key additions. They know what it takes to win in this league, and they can help instill that winning mentality in a younger team.
With all the talent available, both in the draft and through free agency, this is shaping up to be a wild offseason.
We're going to see a lot of movement in the coming weeks, and it's going to be fascinating to see how these teams adapt and adjust their strategies.
It's going to be a chess match, with every move carrying significant implications. And for the fans, it's going to be a thrill ride.
Absolutely. This is what makes the offseason so exciting. The possibilities are endless, and the anticipation builds with every trade, every signing, every draft pick.
It's a reminder that in Football Rivals, the game never truly stops. The strategies are always evolving, the competition is always fierce, and the pursuit of a championship never ends.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the pre-free agency landscape. We'll be back next week with more analysis and insights.
Until then, keep your eyes on the trade block, your ears to the ground, and your hearts in the game. We'll see you next time.
It's Rivals Radio.